welcome back. My second guest is a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's the co-founder of 4 educational institutions, and the list actually goes on. She is Fatima Talia, and she has just recently received the Mother of Pearl Awards 2023. Assalamu alaikum to you, Fatima. What a pleasure to have you on the show this morning. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me, Julie.
Okay, so what is the Mother of Pearl Awards all about?
The Mother of Pearl Awards, I didn't know too much about it until I did receive it. They were identifying women that have made a difference in the community, and somebody had nominated me, and I guess I fitted the criteria, and there you go. I was one of the recipients.
Congratulations on that. How do you move forward from an award like this? It kind of raises expectations, does it not? Despite you having been so involved in the past in various enterprises, but does this put a further, possibly, expectation on you to move the boundaries out even more?
To be honest, no, not particularly, because it was just a big surprise to me anyway. And I'm just doing what I'm doing for the pleasure of Allah and to move forward. So I can't say I wasn't overjoyed and happy about receiving it, but no pressure on my side to scale higher lengths, so to speak. I'm totally okay with what I'm doing. I think you know me, I'm so grounded, and I'm like, okay, shukr alhamdulillah, this is good, I'll move on from here.
All right, Fatima, because of time constraints, there's so much I'd like to talk to you about this morning. I know that you have established a medical equipment library. You're also a poet. You're a writer of children's short stories. That's something I didn't know. And you're the chairperson of Muscular Dystrophy Foundation, Gauteng. There is so much that we do need to unpack, and I don't want to do it in bits and pieces. Hopefully I can get you on another time to talk some more, to unpack all of these issues in detail. What would you like to talk to us about this morning? Your children's short stories, perhaps?
Okay, so I've written the stories and they are in the pipeline of my book is in the pipeline of being published. So at this point, I just don't want to preempt everything. Like I say, just give me a few more weeks and then you'll see. We'll talk about that on the other show.
Inshallah. Okay, so let's go to something really important, something that goes straight to the heart, sometimes even difficult to broach the subject with you. And that's the issue around your dear son, Yusuf, who passed away approximately 9 years ago, and he suffered from muscular dystrophy. How did that impact on your life and the people around you, and the difference it has made? Did it push you to do bigger and better things all the time because of this challenge that you had in your life?
Yes, absolutely. It did push me to go forward. And there was a lot of things that I had to think about. There's no manual when you get such a diagnosis for your child. Didn't know what to do, had to think on my feet and just move on from there. And that's why I joined the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation, Gauteng branch. I must tell you that was a while ago. And after Yusuf had passed on, I'm not part of the foundation anymore. I am there as a member, but I'm not actively on that foundation because emotionally it's very taxing for me to continue in that field. And that is why I chose to branch off into education. And now I'm into the coaching field.
So Fatima, still talking about muscular dystrophy, did it help you belonging to the organization? Do you think that you were better able to help Yusuf through his progressive illness? And were you able to make life as comfortably as you possibly could for him? And I'm sure you did, because he achieved so much despite being in a wheelchair. He went on to study at Wits, and he, I think, earned 2 or 3 degrees in the process.
Yes, absolutely. Alhamdulillah, he earned 3 degrees before he passed on. So he had a degree in Bachelor of Science, and then his second degree was Bachelor of Science. A Bachelor of Accounting Science was his first degree. The second one was Bachelor of Science. He double majored in physiology and psychology. And in the middle of the second degree, his lung collapsed. He was in ICU for 6 weeks. And actually, at that point, we thought he won't make it. But Alhamdulillah, he did. 6 weeks later, he came home with a trachea in his throat. And we did the airway suctioning and so on, airway clearance for him. And then he went back to varsity. He completed that second degree, and then he did his honors in physiology. So with the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation, we had the support group structure there, whereby you could speak to other mothers. And I did that in the beginning, but I couldn't continue with it simply because the children had passed away. And Alhamdulillah, I still had my Yusuf, because with the prognosis, we were told he will pass away. He will go onto a wheelchair between the ages of 8 and 12, and he will pass away in his teens. So that was the prognosis. There was no therapy and there was no cure. That is what we were told. And we had to work within that so-called limitations that they had given us. But Alhamdulillah, as you saw, every year he grew academically, and we allowed him to continue to grow in the academic field, and we didn't limit him in any way or form, and that's why he continued to do what he was doing. And towards the end, there were no children or no parents that we could speak to that was part of the foundation who had children of his age. So that was difficult and that was hard. But look, the support that I did get from the foundation was in the early days, and that for me was very empowering. And that is why I was on the foundation for the longest time. Yeah.
Do you find that because Yusuf lived up to, I think it was his mid-20s, correct me if I'm wrong,
25.
that you've had that extra experience to be able to help other parents? And have you heard if there are other children in that age group that might need the support?
I don't know of other children in that age group, because, as I said, with the prognosis of this condition, and generally what happens is the children pass away in their teens, so 18, 19, and then they pass on. In Yusuf's case, Alhamdulillah, he passed away at the age of 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there are any older children, but of course, for the younger children and for their parents, we are here on the support group to help them and assist them when needed.
Undoubtedly, it must have been a very difficult time for you when he passed away, because you were so involved in his life, both you and your husband, and I guess your extended family. You know, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are when you lose a loved one. You are left with such a void and so much of darkness. But we also know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is with us every step of the way. You then decided to move on. And do you think the reason why you found yourself in the coaching space was that you just felt you had something to give? You had so much more to give to the community and the people around you that you decided to go into this area of work?
Yes, absolutely. So for me, the coaching was innate in me. And then I just took it to the next level and I brought it into a more formal and structured space. But I was doing already when I joined the foundation, I was doing motivational speaking. I was doing disability awareness, and I did that at schools. I was invited to go to the WITS genetics department, and I did a talk there with them. So I kind of was doing all of this anyway. And it's just after Yusuf passed away, okay, so I had to deal with the loss. and the pain and the hurt of losing somebody that I cared for 25 years, 24/7. And so, of course, I went through that stage. And then I was able to bounce right back and say, okay, listen, now whatever I've learned, whatever I have experienced, it is now an opportunity for me to continue to pass it on. So, like I said, I was doing this, but not in a formal space. And I decided to do it now in a formal and structured way.
We have just about 2 minutes to wrap up time. How time flies when you're in the midst of a very interesting discussion. Do you truly believe that coaching works? I've spoken with a lot of young people suggesting that, try and do NLP or CBT coaching. It's going to help you over these challenges that you're facing in your life. And they kind of just brush it aside. Your personal experience, does it tell you that it does in fact work?
Absolutely, 100% it does work. We have to do the work in terms of being the client. You've got to do the work on your side. But having someone to show you step by step how you can get to a better space, that 100% works. It worked for me because it wasn't just learning about coaching. I actually got coached myself. And hence, I'm in a much better space than I was in a few years ago.
What modality of coaching did you, undertake, and what are you now passing on? Is it NLP or CBT?
It's NLP plus transformational life coaching, and then I'm a life coach as well, and we do emotional healing as well.
Okay, we've almost come to wrap up time. How do people contact you for coaching sessions and... Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. We have at least another 5 minutes or so with our amazing guest, Fatima Talia. She's a businesswoman, entrepreneur, transformational coach, co-founder of 4 educational institutions, established a medical equipment library. She's a poet, a writer of children's short stories, and she's also involved with the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation in Gauteng. Fatima, welcome back. We were still talking about coaching, whether in fact it does work. And you are indicating that if you follow the program, it can, does, and will work for you. Give us a few examples.
Okay, absolutely, it does work. With the transformational life coaching, what we do, Julie, is we take the client out of a negative pool, or the pool of negativity and hurt and trauma. So what I can put it to you like this: we extend a step ladder into that pool, and step by step, the client goes out of that pool of negativity. So here, we don't teach you to swim, we don't teach you to tread water, we don't teach you to keep your head up so that you don't get overwhelmed by additional stuff. We literally get you out of the negative space, then you onto firm ground. Now from here, you move on. So first you're neutral and you've regulated yourself and you know where you are now, and then you are able to move on. So all of these things, obviously, that happened to us, the trauma and the loss and the pain and the hurt, that happened in our past. And we show you it is there, it's part of your past, but how not to get stuck in your past, how to then be present where you are right now, and how to move on from here. And that is what is going to drive you forward. And of course, that's totally beneficial to you for mind, body, and soul. That's the whole thing. It's called the physiology of excellence, whereby you align your mind, body, and soul. Things that happen in your mind, they 100% affect you directly. The negative stuff that happens to you in your mind, it affects you directly and negatively on your body if you don't deal with it. And this is what we talk to you about. We show you how to get out of that space so that you'd be a healthier person. And of course, the healthier you are, you can move on. And alhamdulillah, if you can, then you can move forward, getting closer to Allah. So the
Inshallah.
alignment of mind, body, and soul is what we strive to achieve.
But Fatima,
And we do.
this also talks to, we know in this day and age, because of the pressure of everyday life and just the stuff that we're all exposed to, trauma of every conceivable sort you're faced with on a daily basis. And if you're a person with a very negative mindset, it's going to take lots more hard work to get you out of that space. But I think the bottom line is that you must want to heal for you to heal. Because if you close your mind off to any form of healing, any suggestions, any support that people are offering, you're not going to heal. Am I right?
Absolutely true. So your cup has to be open. If your cup is on the other side, everything will wash away. So you've got to come, you've got to recognize. So we also teach you, well, for me, with the posts that I have on Instagram and on my status, I've already raised the awareness levels, the self-awareness levels. When you become aware of yourself, and what is keeping you and what is limiting you in a negative space, it's only then that you can begin to address your problems. So once you have that open mind to say, okay, now I want to heal, I want to go forward from where I am, that's when it starts. Then you've made this paradigm shift in your head to say, okay, I'm now not happy in the space I'm in, I want to move on. Once you do that, we will show you how to move on. And shukr alhamdulillah, with this transformational life coaching, it's not a tremendously long process, and we don't keep you in coaching forever. My personal coaching structure is 6 weeks. So in 40 days, you can turn yourself around. Excuse me.
Okay, so 40 days of continuous coaching, or is it once a week? How does it work?
So it's once a week, 1 hour a week.
Okay.
So it's a 1 hour session and once a week, but you cannot skip for 6 weeks. You stay with the program. If you are working at a slower pace, you might need an additional 1 or 2 sessions, and that's totally fine. But if you are determined, the whole thing is, as you'd mentioned before, the determination has to come from you. You've got to put in 100% effort to want to change, and then you'll change. I show you the power of your mind. So in the first session already, so the first session is an introductory session where I explain what the coaching is about, what is the expectation from me, from you. If you can do ABC, then we can work together. And if you're like, yeah, maybe, I think, I'll try, not good enough, then you're not ready. Then you go home, reflect, regroup your mind, think about what you want to do, then you come back. But if you're there and you say, right, this is it, this is for me, I'm 100% committed, there you go, then you're on your way. I can help you within 6 weeks. We can develop new habits, and we can drop bad habits. However, there's a lot of unlearning to do. But if you're willing to unlearn the negative stuff that you've collected all along the way, you can do it.
Alhamdulillah. We have definitely come to the end of the show now. So we're going to have to wrap up, but undoubtedly Fatima is one of those people that we need to have on the show again and again to share her wisdom, inspiration, and motivation. So Fatima, in closing, what would you like to share with us?
I would like to tell the listeners, please guys, you there, reflect on where you are, and if there are any changes that you want to make. And listen, nobody can say that they are perfect, and we don't strive for perfection. We strive to be excellent. And if you want to grow from where you are, so it's personal growth and development. If you want to grow, then this is the place that you can start. If you need a nudge, this is where you're at. That's fine. And we can help you to be the best version of yourself.
Subhanallah.
This is what we're here to do.
Absolutely, very, very encouraging, very especially for people who are facing all sorts of traumatic and other challenges in their lives. It's good to know that there is help out there. So thank you for sharing that with us on the show this morning. And keep us in your du'as is all I can say. Muharram Mubarak to you and all your loved ones. Till the next time, as always, Assalamu alaikum. And that's where you have it. We leave it there. I do hope you've enjoyed being with me over the past hour. Don't forget, Perspective goes out every Thursday morning live at 10. So I will see you next week at the same time. Take care. Stay safe on the roads. Assalamu alaikum from the entire Perspective.